Welcome, everyone, to our final programmed set for the weekend. And while that's a very bittersweet feeling, we have some bittersweet music for you. We have the wonderful pop, influenced by jazz music of the early Tommy Dorsey and Jimmy Dorsey, Dorsey Brothers Orchestra. And this is before they had their own orchestra on the road. These were studio dates that they filled with all their mates, and it's good that they were such wonderful musicians. Arranged by Arthur Schutt and Glenn Miller, and occasionally taking a stock and working on that. We're going to open with, from June the 4th, 1928. I know it's one of my favourites, and I know it's one of Andy's and Natalie's, and probably one of yours if you know these records. Forgetting You.
One, two, three.
All right, Mike Davis on the trombone and the trumpet. One of the special things about this particular set of recordings is Tommy Dorsey lets himself go loose on the trumpet, playing wild trumpet solos quite often. And in this process of playing this music and rehearsing it the other day, we discovered it's almost impossible for him to do so because he's got really to have someone to help with the music and the trumpet and trumpet mutes and the trombone. There's a lot to juggle, but we think he can manage it, particularly with Alistair's help. And yeah, Mike Davis and Alistair, what a great team they are. We've also got Graham in the back on the trombone. We couldn't fit him in the front, but there he is. Alistair's got a feature on the sweet trombone lead of Tommy Dorsey on this next one. It's a well-known tune, and we're going to add Richard on the flute and Emma on the violin. It's Mean to Me. This one was a Glenn Miller arrangement, and you can really hear his adventurous sound. With such a big group, it's really important to get the tempos right. That's not the tempo.
One, two, three, four, one, and.
Andy Schumm on the piano in that Arthur Schacht style flute there again. I'm not going to introduce the whole band because I think you probably know them by now. I'll just point out whenever someone does something that surprises or impresses me. Or I suppose disappoints. Maybe I wouldn't mention that, I think. This music was great fun to write out, and one of the thrills of Whitley Bay is we get to do things that push our limits. And I think you've seen that with some of us. I feel like everyone's really hit their stride this weekend, of course, but we're all preparing all year for this sort of stuff, aren't we? How about Lorenzo earlier on? How about Curtis earlier on? How about Natalie last night? Yeah. I suppose there are some brass players down there, I can't really see them. We're going to move on now with one that I've always wanted to do, and it feels like yesterday Andy Schumm was in the band room out the back playing the little keyboard in there, and in between sets, and he was just noodling around with this tune, and I've always wanted to play it with the full Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey, the Dorsey Brothers lineup. Out of the Dawn.
One, two, three.
Yeah, Mike. Okay, so this music is, as you can hear, sort of pop tunes, but there's a really interesting balance between the sweet melody that you heard. Was it Joe? Joe, were you playing that really sweet melody in the opening chorus?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Joe Boga on the trumpet, yeah. Joe is a real specialist in getting all of those different lead sounds. That's really nice to hear it. So there's, as I was saying, there's this great mix of the pop element, and then towards the end you get these really blazing solos. And something that's really special to me on these records is that the rhythm section really responds. And anytime someone plays a hot solo, check out what Curtis is doing on the banjo or the guitar, check out what the drums are doing, maybe what the tuba is, there's going to be something interesting happening. They all get in on the act, which is really special. This one's Dixie Dawn, another Dawn tune. I thought I'd put them together. I'd like to dedicate this to Lorenzo, who will be getting up just after the dawn, maybe before it. This one, I'm pretty sure, was arranged by Arthur Shutt, and it's very tricky, and the guys in the band are sort of play it together. It's got this swagger, though, that the rhythms aren't quite neat and tidy, but I really like how it sounds. It's a bit loose. So, I guess we've got a free pass for this one. Dixie Dawn.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Dixie Dawn, where you wake and yawn with a sunbeam, a new kind of daydream comes creeping around you. Dixie Dawn on a summer morning, the Southland is peaceful and happy. It's happened to me. Love to see the sharply seas, hills of green, just one lonely tree. Dixie Dawn, all my worries gone, 'cause I'm home bound. Well, the night time meets the morning, Dixie Dawn.
One of the other revelations, I think, for many of the musicians, and I think probably for you in the audience this weekend, has been the magnificent trumpet playing of Lewis Taylor here. What a player. And you couldn't ask for a better person to work with as well, so he's the whole package. We're going to feature him a little bit on this next one, and it's called Breakaway. It's a good thing Curtis doesn't have to do any singing in this set. I get a little bit of a break in Breakaway as well. It's an instrumental. By the way, this one is a little bit based on the stock, I think, rather than being a full chart. Breakaway.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Wow, okay, yeah. The thing that got me most excited in that tune wasn't the amazing solos from everyone who soloed or the incredible section playing as well. It was actually the drumming of Josh Duffee. How about that? I've known Josh the longest I've known anyone here. We knew each other when we were just out of teens, I think. He visited Australia where I was still living, and we had a mutual friend who put us together. He said, I think you two will get along. We did. Yeah. We're going to bring on Richard and Emma for this one. So when I put together this lineup, I realized afterwards, too late, that we needed a flute player, and Richard was very kind enough to join us on the flute, because he's got those extra skills. Yeah, Richard. Yeah. So we're going to play My Kind of Love, and for this particular session, the vocalist was a young Bing Crosby, so no pressure.
One, two, 1, 2, 3.
although you're deceiving. My kind of love is one way to paradise. Oh, my kind of lips, your kind of lips. When loves come stealing, encourage that feeling. My kind of love is one way to paradise. Although you're happy today, you may be gone tomorrow. Love comes just once, don't be a dunce. When you need it, still I'll be tomorrow. I'm fond of you, you're fond of me. Tell me you love me, hug me and squeeze me. My kind of love is one way to paradise.
So you had a lovely trombone duet there, and I think that was a specialty of Glenn Miller's at the time, because of course he was a trombonist, and added to the session along with Tommy, it made a great pair, so that was a welcome addition to their sound. You may notice we have David Horniblow joining us on the bass saxophone here. No prizes for guessing who sat in with the band on one of his trips back from playing with the Fred Elizalde band in London. It was Adrian Rollini. In fact, he came over, he went back, I should say. He went back to the US for quite sad reasons. I can't remember now if it was his mother or his father. His father had been announced as, they contacted him and said, get back quick, he's unwell. And I don't think Adrian made it, but he did make this session. And it's very sad to think that, and on this particular tune, he doesn't play a lot, but he features on the next one a bit more. This one's Indian Cradle song, which I know the Chicago mob like to hear. So this one's for you, Peter Ho. Okay, Indian Cradle song.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Sleep and rest, from drowsy lands sandlands are coming, through leafy trees breezes are humming, humming Indian cradle song. Moon swings low, night winds blow, to keep your wee cradle a-swinging, and while you sleep I will be singing singing Indian cradle song.
So, of course, sad reasons for Rollini being back in town or not, they had to feature him on this next tune because when you've got a great bass sax player like Rollini, you make the most of them. And same thing with David Horniblow. Actually, that's the main reason I included that last song. It's a beautiful tune, but there aren't many hot solos. I put it in because just having bass sax in the background makes it hot, I think. Don't you agree? Yeah, it's a great sound. Yeah. Certainly no slight on the tuba, Phil. Yeah, tuba fan, yeah, that's great. I knew we had one. Okay, so it's My Melancholy Baby, and on these sessions they had a wonderful singer, or rather a wonderful pianist called Seeger Ellis, and his singing has been much maligned, although I think it's pretty characterful. He's the guy who's on the Trumbauer and Bix recording of Blue River, and he's regarded as not singing that well. So much so that people have used AI tools to remove his vocal from the record. So maybe in the future people will look at the YouTube video of this set and remove my vocal because it's My Melancholy Baby, as I said.
One, two, one, two, three.
Come to me, my melancholy baby. Come up and don't be moved. All your visions of foolish fancy maybe Why, you know, dear, that I'm in love with you. Every cloud must have a silver lining, so wait until the sun shines through. Smile, honey dear, while I kiss away each tear, or else I shall be melancholy too.
Yeah, David. So that was it for Rellini. He was back to where he was enjoying his time in the Savoy Hotel with Elizalde, and he didn't record with that band again. But David will be back later on to play some baritone. So we're fortunate to have Phil Rutherford every year at this festival. All of us musicians love his playing, and he's a great guy to have around. Phil Rutherford. So this is the Yale Blues, written by Vivian Ellis, and I transcribed most of the record that the Dorsey Brothers did of this before I realised it was based on the stock arrangement, which meant I had something that's quite special for us musicians, the chance to see if I'd got it right with my transcription. And you know, I gave myself one pat on the back, not two. There were a couple of things that were different, but fortunately I was able to address them. Here's the Yale Blues, and we've got Alistair on the trombone for some hot work on this. How about Mike Davis on the trombone and the trumpet? They say that Tommy Dorsey had a dual personality. He had this wonderful, smooth, and kind of technically precise trombone playing, and then he had this wild, kind of jazzy trumpet sound. What better person, rather, to have those two characteristics of precision and also wild intensity, I think, than Mike Davis. He's great. He's going to be practicing his precise and wild sitting there watching Alistair on this next one.
Uneven. Jumpy. Joke. A 1, 2. A 1, 2, 3, 4.
When Harvard you. That syncopation, it sent them simply wild. Their anger grew when every nation and every little child said that the yeah, and the rest beyond the veil, it is the best. Put on your shoes, suppose you try those new Yale Blues.
The next one is one of my favorites. You too, Andy?
Yes.
Yeah. This tune is pretty straight for a lot of the time, but it has this beautiful melody. It's called Beside an Open Fireplace. It's not a famous tune. In fact, it disappeared pretty much without a trace after this. But it has 8 bars of Muggsy Spanier in the verse. And he plays so hot with this lovely banjo pushing behind him that it's the hottest thing on any record, I think. There's also a little bit of Jimmy Dorsey for me to play later on. But mainly it's a really nice tune with this bittersweet poignancy that music had in the late 20s and around this one's 1930. Of course, you've heard from Spats Langham why some of that is to do with things like the Great Depression. Beside an Open Fireplace.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
That one was particularly fun because unlike the other records by that particular band, it was poorly recorded for a different label, I believe. And we got to hear it in better sound. Okay, we're almost at the end. We're going to play another tune and then maybe Jonathan and Patty have some words to say. But this one's called Fine and Dandy. And this had a vocalist, many of the tunes that we've played had the vocalist Harold Scrappy Lambert singing. And I'd just like to go on record and say he was fantastic. And this one is no exception. Thank you for the Scrappy Lambert fan club up front. I'm glad they're in attendance.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost the end of our jazz party, and we want to thank you so much for coming along. Jonathan and Patty, do you have anything to say? Yeah. I'd like to welcome to the stage Jonathan Holmes and Patty Durham. Colin, you can come up too if you want, but I think you're done. He's been working.
Say something nice about
Say something nice. There are a few people we have to thank. First of all, we should give a big thank you to David, our sound guy, who's done a terrific job this weekend. I'm going to say nice things about Colin and Michael now, which will hopefully make them blush. Colin obviously stepped into this role, and they were very, very big shoes to fill that were left by Klaus. And I have absolutely no doubt that we made the right choice in picking Colin. He's done a fantastic job. So we should give a big thank you to Colin. And we should also give a big thank you to Michael. Now, Michael, not only has he written out, 40 odd charts for this year?
47.
47 charts for this weekend. He's also arranged all of the logistics for the rehearsal day and made sure there's no clashes for the set. And then they've delivered a programme which flows and has so much variety in it. And that is a skill in itself. So, Michael, we thank you very much. And the biggest thanks that we have, I guess, goes to everyone in this room for keeping this jazz party alive and keeping Mike's dream going. Without your support and without you turning up and being here and supporting this event, these wonderful musicians wouldn't get to do what they do so well, and this event wouldn't happen. So we thank you all sincerely for coming, whether you travel from just up the road or from other countries. It's always great to come back here and see so many familiar faces and so many new faces as well. And just out of interest, if you are new this year and this is your first year, would you pop your hand up? Look at that. That's always quite a special moment, actually, because often you think, there's no new audiences for this thing, and where are we going to find new people to come? And then we see all these hands go up, and that's wonderful. So thank you very, very much for coming for the first time, or if you've come for many, many times, it's always wonderful to see you. So thank you very much.
Well, I think Jonathan has pretty well said it all, but hotel staff, we should say a big thank you to the hotel staff. And I want to make a special thank you to Jonathan. This festival couldn't happen without all of us working together.
That's right.
Yeah. Again, thank you all of you for coming. It's been a fabulous weekend. It's not quite over. We still have the jam session. I think this has been the best ever.
Well, we say that every year.
We do say that every year.
But this year definitely.
Yeah. So thank you once again, and we'll see you all next year. Yeah.
Do you want to hear the 47th chart I wrote? Well, it's ironically titled, I'll Never Ask for More. Here we go. This one's from 1929, and it's one of my favourites. This is a really moving ballad, but with a bit of pep.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
long for the scenery, homestead near the greenery. Lead me to that scenery, and I'll never ask for more. For in that homestead near that greenery, on that hillside fair, to longing eyes, to tender lips, to tender arms await me there. She stands at the gateway, makes heaven a straight way. Lead me to that gateway, and I'll never ask for more. All right, we'll see you in the pub.
Thank you so much, and thank you to these wonderful musicians, and thank you for being here. As I said, we'll see you in the pub for the jam.